November the 7th, 2025. So it's Friday, the shipping terminal's on a modified schedule, so they won't open till 7 o'clock, and it's 6:49, so about 11 minutes they'll be open. In the meantime, we gotta get turned around and join the queue there. We got a transfer station here to the left of us for garbage, and that's what these trucks are, dropping off at their transfer station. This guy's gonna want to back into it, so give him some space. I guess he's not ready to do that yet. We're going to make a U-turn here in the intersection. Thank you. So we got a 10-minute break. Enough time to finish up my first cup of coffee and maybe have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, we're getting things going here. The battery in the GoPro is dead. Both of my cell phones needed to be charged up. That's what happens when you just work a couple days a week. I'm not a real social media person. So when I'm not working, I don't even have a cell phone on me. As a result, my cell phones always are dead. Oh, it's ringing now. Probably saying, "I've been trying to get a hold of you." Hello. Okay. Alright, should I give him a call before I go over there? Because it doesn't say. Yeah, let him know I'm hooked up. I should be there in less than half an hour. Okay, yeah, bye. So yeah, our first container was a saddle. First container was an empty from the big boxes last night. And this is our second movement. So this is a full 20. And it's loaded with research equipment. It's going to one of the marine research vessels. So she just called to let me know that they're going to take this container off the chassis when we get there. We're supposed to. So that creates a little bit of a logistics situation. I don't like having these strings hanging down. Uh-oh. We got a broken chassis. Can't roll up the landing gear. Ah, goody. So now we gotta flip the chassis. It's always something. So we'll get disconnected, grab a working chassis, and then go down and let the yard management know that we got a broken chassis. Okay, 7:38. We're hooked up to a working 20-foot chassis. We let the yard supervisor know what's going on. We're trying to get the MP3 player spun up here. Turn around the shuffle. There we go. In the meantime, we're just gonna clean the windows because I haven't been driving this truck for a few days. Things are a little grimy. And we got 4 trucks in front of me doing kind of the same thing I'm doing. These are all food distributor trucks, and they're getting their reefer containers off the normal chassis and put onto genset chassis so that the generators can keep the refrigeration units running. So we'll have to wait our turn. That went really fast. 7:45. They took care of the 4 trucks in front of me, and my container's next. So some things like landing gears, the mechanics aren't going to fix that right away, so in those cases it's easier to flip the container off the bad chassis and just put it onto a good chassis, which is what we're doing. the mistakes I made when I was first starting out is when they're putting that container onto the chassis, I thought I had to hold the chassis really, really tight in place. But it's actually the opposite. The second they touch the chassis, you kind of want to let off on your brakes a little bit so that the chassis can shift into position. Not completely let off, but just enough to, if there's any tension on it, so it'll move into place. And it helps the operators out. When I first started, I would just hold on to the brakes, and a couple of times operators came up to me and said, yeah, just let off on your brakes a second here for it so it'll move into place. So now we're going to get the pins locked. It's a union job. The research wharf at I think it's pier it's in the 20s, pier 22, 21, about 3.5 miles, easy run. Like I say, not a very good YouTuber. Forgot to film the whole thing. Anyway. That's the pier where all the research boats usually come in. So now we can take this empty chassis back to the shipping terminal. Get rid of it. So we took that chassis back to our shipping terminal in Sand Island and picked up this full 40-foot container with 43,000 pounds of consolidated freight, what we call an LTL, less than container load freight. Bringing it back to our terminal, going to get it on the dock right away because this is our major purpose here. The company is Consolidated Freight Forwarding. Bring people together, put all their freight together in one container. That way we can take advantage of lower cost. And once the container gets here, it goes on the dock so that we can offload the container, separate it, and then either reload it back into containers or put it into these smaller box trucks or put it onto a flatbed or get it delivered to the customer. That's what we do. It's our highest priority. Everything else is a side hustle. The consolidated freight is the real deal. I tell guys who talk about, wanting to be truck drivers, says you really want to make money, you got to get into the consolidated freight business where you're not just moving containers, but you're delivering freight to the customer. And if you really want to make money, get into warehousing. That's where the big bucks are. So yeah, if you wanted to, you came from a small town, I always imagine you have a couple of delivery trucks, 1 or 2 tractors, a warehouse where you can store maybe 1,000 pallets. You can probably make some money doing it. It's a little too ambitious for my liking though. Okay, we'll get the doors open, get this on the dock. Well, this is kind of nostalgic. I drove tour buses for 10 years, and when I left the tour bus industry, I went over and drove garbage trucks for 7 years. And the company I worked for, BFI, was bought out by this company, On-Route Disposal. And that happened after I left. But a lot of the drivers and mechanics still here. We've aged a little bit. That was over 20 years ago, 23, 24 years ago. But we brought them a container load of garbage cans, basically, the big metal ones. It's all parts and pieces, so they gotta weld them together. Let's see if we can leave the can here, then they have tractors, they can put it on their dock and offload it when they're ready for it. Yeah, pretty nice operation now. It wasn't this big when I was working here. I think we had maybe 14 trucks. I think they got twice that now. Yeah. I drove the roll-offs for 2 years, and then I switched over to the front loaders because they made $1 more an hour, and did that for 5 years. After that, I kind of was worn out and decided I wanted to do something easier. Driving freight was way easier than driving garbage trucks. The roll-offs aren't too bad, but the front loads where you're pushing garbage cans all day long, that's tough. And back in those days, I just wanted to be 200 pounds. I wanted some more mass. I was only 100, about 175, 180 at the time. I said, man, if I could just get up over 200 pounds, I wouldn't be pushed around by these cans all day long. Now I'm 225, I'd probably be alright. At least I have the weight. I don't know if I have the muscle mass like I did then. So we're going to head out to Lagoon Drive by the Honolulu International Airport and pick up our next can from the Customs inspection station, take it back to our terminal. That'll be our next one. So it's 1:53. We've been busy. We took a load of construction material out to the Campbell Industrial, dropped it off at a precast facility. They precast concrete, and then we picked up an empty from them and brought that back here to our terminal because the shipping terminal was closed at the time. And then dispatch gave me a list of containers from the international shipping terminal that co-worker was working on. He says, she said, just go and help him finish that up. These are all pre-pulled containers for a on-time delivery on Monday. It was like 6 containers. So far we got 4. There's 2 more to go. Got to make our way past the downtown area where the new railroad's going to run. And I had a lot of questions when they announced that they were going to close one of the lanes of traffic in the downtown area in both directions. People asked me how much that was going to mess up the traffic, because normally there's 4 lanes in each direction. And my answer was, as long as they don't close one of the 3rd lanes, which is exactly what has happened today, traffic moves right along. But as soon as they close the 3rd lane, you get a little bit of backup. Now in the past, the lane we're in now would be a right turn only when you get to the Aloha Tower, but it's been realigned so that it no longer is a right turn only. You can continue straight, but a lot of people don't know that. For that reason, this lane usually moves faster. Because if they ever close that 3rd lane, which they have today, because they're usually whenever the cranes are in operation, they close the lanes. It slows things down, but it doesn't slow it down terribly. But it's still, if that lane was open, there would be no traffic at all. Yeah, I see the cranes moving, so that's why the lanes are closed. You need the big cranes because there's a lot of big pieces involved. And the arrows kind of show you how things have been realigned a bit to avoid the right turn only. Because this used to be a right turn only lane. Oh yeah, they've already started digging holes. See the hole over there? The casing in it. So we're going to bobtail back to the International Shipping Terminal, pick up one of the last 2 containers for the on-time delivery on Monday. It's almost 2 o'clock, 3 minutes to 2. This could be our last run. Making our way past Aloha Tower in the downtown area, where all the railroad construction is at the moment. It's going to come through this section right here, and then it's going to veer off to the left where those trees are straight ahead and go down that road. I think they're going to lose a couple of nice trees in the process. Making our way back to Pier 1. Number 5 out of 6. Taking it back to our yard. We're just going to stick it in the yard until Monday. Easy housekeeping type work. But the first one I pulled out, it was 5 deep, and the second one here was 5 deep also. So it wasn't easy getting them out. Had to do a little work. Yeah, we'll we'll get the pins locked down and then we'll get this outgated. That's it, shutting it down. I thought I was the last one in, but another truck just came in. Oh boy. So it's 5:15. We came in at 6 this morning. We ended up doing 12 movements. We got caught in traffic on the way back to the yard. There was a big accident. I never got to see it though, but I saw the 2 fire trucks and 3 police cars go by, and then all of a sudden traffic came to pretty much a standstill. So it took over an hour to get back to the yard when it should have taken 20 minutes. All in all, a good day though. Had fun. 12 movements, we drove 140 miles. Nice 11-hour day. So the other senior driver who drives this truck is going to be out getting surgery on his wrist. And so while he's out, I'm probably going to work more than I normally would. So we might work 4 days next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Because there's only 7 weeks left and then it's retirement time. Counting them down. Getting excited. A little bit nervous. But yeah, all in all, good day. We're gonna head on home. I want to make a pot of beans. I guess you would call them cowboy beans, you know, just beans and onions and tomatoes and mushrooms, seasonings. And I usually make a big pot and then you eat it all week long, and it usually gets, the more it ages, the better it gets. And then I eat it with chips and stuff like that. So that's kind of a favorite. We already have a big tossed salad made. I just made rice this last night. So wife's at Costco shopping. So I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I got some chicken that I cooked up a couple days back, so I'll probably have some of that too. Little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's what's for dinner. But that is it for this Friday. We'll be back on Monday. Thanks for watching. Aloha.